I just wanted Rudolph to have more than I ever did. You gotta understand, I was a nothing, a no deer. I was never gonna pull Santa's sleigh. I get a bad back. I'm not a strong flyer. And I smoke. I was an unemployed hood deer. In fact, I got fired from my last job. Once word gets around you can't do herd work, you're through. So when the vets told me that Rudolph was going to be born the way he was, you know, with the nose, and that he'd probably never be able to do a day's work in his life, never mind be one of the 8. And then he'd have a lighthouse on his nose and a face no doe could ever love. And then they told me that my mate and I shouldn't try to have another. Does it all look like that? Corey was terrible upset. That was the end for me. That was the end of my life. You see, every parent has dreams for their kids. Dreams that'll never happen. like their son will grow up to be president of the United States. Or their daughter will grow up to be the president's wife. Crazy, outlandish dreams. But when your life was where mine was, those are the dreams that keep you going. That crazy parental optimism that keeps you going through the bad times. When it's tough to just put feed on the table. Because you know that if you are up to nothing, your kids will have a world of possibilities before. And it's worth waking up one more day just to see what they do with those possibilities. Rudolph didn't have many possibilities. Who was going to hire a kid with a lighthouse for a nose? You can understand. Our whole culture is based on natural athleticism. If you can't run fast, or jump high, or dance, or pull a sleigh, you're better off dead. If Rudolph was a domesticated deer, they would have shot him, put him out of his misery. Because his only future was to be a burden to his parents. Burden enough as it was already. So, when Santa gave Rudolph the chance to lead the team, you bet I jumped at it. All I had to do was sign a contract giving Santa the rights to his name and his face. What do I care? This was the chance to give my boy a life. You gotta understand what this is like. The British have their queen. The Americans have the Beatles. The Reindeer have 8. And Rudolph wasn't just gonna fly with the 8. He was gonna lead the team. Something that only Dasher had ever done. Dasher, who's like a superhero in those teams. Dasher who flew headfirst into the Empire State Building, fell out of his harness, plunged 60 stories, got back up, and led the team on the fastest Christmas run on record. My boy, for that one night, was going to lead the team. It got pretty tough after that foggy night. Rudolph couldn't stand the harsh spotlight of fame. Started with the parties, then the drugs. And then to see Santa turn his back on him. The fog's all gone and you're off for the tea. Ho, ho, ho. Yeah, but you can still use it for your advertising and your North Pole PR machine. But I needed to stand up for my son. So I did something that no one had ever done to Santa Claus. Many have done it since, and they will brag about it for the rest of their lives. But nobody, deer, no elf, nobody had ever said no to Santa Claus. Said no to Santa Claus. No more exploiting a roof. He was shocked. My dog fainted. Then he offered me money, gifts, reindeer things. I said no. Then he said there was an opening for me on the team. That my family would never get one for food or shelter or clothing. That I, Donna, an unemployed herd deer from Fairbanks, Alaska, would be one of the 8 most important reindeer in the world. When I dashed the victors, the comets, I said no. Then he said he'd find a place for Rudolph. Not on the team, but he could do trade show appearances, Costco's, an honorary position for life. I said yes. And I signed away the movie rights and the merchandising, whatever that is. And I saw the bad movie with the flanks. And the stuffed animals, the puppets, the keychains and the magnets. And something. I have no idea what that is. And then it happened. Rudolph couldn't stand to see his face everywhere. And I watched him struggle. I watched him get attacked by the crowds and the paparazzi. The paparazzi wouldn't give him a moment's rest. I'll never forget. I made him pay. I made him pay me. I made him pay Rudolph. And now every time you hear that song, you know that song. or he uses his name, he pays me. Us. A wood. So yes, I paid with my boy. I paid with my mates who left me. And I paid with my honor and my self-respect. And now when I thought it was all behind me, that was a lot of salt. Deer food right now. That's not a good combination, actually. And now when I thought it was all behind us, Lost back in rehab. He just sits and stares and plays with his Rudolph official collectible snow globe. And he doesn't hear when I talk to him. He just sits and stares and sings his song. That terrible song. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. Oh, I hate that fucking song.